Hello dear students, in previous video we learned about the spherical mirrors. We know that there are two types of mirrors. They are nothing but a concave mirror and a convex mirror. Suppose that if I place an object in front of the mirror, I will get the image of that object because of the reflection. Okay. So we are using some of the rules to take the image distance and object distance. So for that purpose we are using the one sign convention rule. So that sign convention rule is called as a Cartesian sign convention. Cartesian sign convention. To measure the object distance and image distances, we are using the sum of the rules. So that is coming under this Cartesian sign convention. So what are the rules? What are that rules? That one we will discuss one by one now. The first rule is all the distances are measured, all the distances are measured from the pole of the spherical mirrors. Pole of the spherical mirrors. So this is the first sign convention rule. So all the distances we should measure from the pole of the spherical mirrors. We know that if I consider one concave mirror, this is an concave mirror and this is an principal axis. We know that the optic center of the mirror is called as that is the pole. That is exactly the center of the spherical mirror. This is the pole. Then we should take all the distances. All the distances means if I want to measure the object distance or if I want to measure the image distance, then I should take that distance from a pole of the spherical mirror. So that is the first rule. Then now let us see what is the second rule. The distances measured in the direction same as incident light are taken positive and direction opposite to that of incident light, are taken as negative. So this is the second rule. So this is very important. So all the distances of the first, according to the first rule, all the distances should be measured from the pole of the spherical mirror, and second will be the distances measured in the same as the direction of the incident ray are taken as positive and the direction opposite to that of incident ray are taken as negative. So what do you mean by that? So here also I am considering one concave mirror. This is an concave mirror. Okay. So this is a principal axis and this is the pole of the concave mirror. Now I am taking one object. Assume that this is an object here. Okay. So the light rays which is coming from this object, after hitting to the reflecting surface of this concave mirror, I will get the image of this object. Okay, this is an object. an object, I will get the image of this object. Suppose that if I get the image here, assume that I am getting image of this object here. This is an image. Then I have some distance of the object and of the image. We know that according to the first rule, all the distances should be taken from the pole of the spherical mirror. So I should take the distance from pole of the mirror, and see here the light rays are coming from the object like this direction. Right? This is the direction in which the light rays are coming, and it is hitting to the concave mirror. After hitting to the concave mirror, I am getting image here. That means the incident light direction is this one. This is the incident light direction. Then I should measure here object distance and image distance. First I am going to measure the object distance. The object distance is nothing but it is the distance from pole of the concave mirror to the or pole of the spherical mirror to the object. So I should take distance from a pole. So from here to here. So this is the object distance. This is the object distance. Usually we are taking as object distance as u. Here u is nothing but object distance. Object distance. But here we have to use sign convention. We know that according to the Cartesian sign convention, distances measured in the direction same as that of the incident light are taken as positive, and direction opposite to that of incident light are taken as negative. So if you observe here, this is the direction of incident light, right? And you are taking the object distance from pole to the object, and the distance you are taking from pole, and that distance, direction of distance is opposite to that of incident light. You are taking the object distance in this manner, and the incident light direction is opposite to that of object distance. Okay, direction of object distance. So that I have to take object distance as negative. So this is the object distance, negative. And now I have to take the image distance. So image distance also I am going to take from pole to the image. So pole to the image. This is the image distance. Normally we are using the V as the image distance. This is the notation of image distance, V, image distance. Now I have to take the sign convention. If you observe here, the direction of image distance and the direction of incident ray, they are in the same direction. See, this is the incident ray direction, and the image distance direction are also same as that of incident ray direction. So that I should take the image distance as positive. So this is the second sign convention. Now let us see what is the third sign convention. Third sign convention tells that the heights measured upwards and perpendicular to the principal axis are taken as positive, and heights measured downwards are taken as negative. So this is the third and last sign convention rule. All the heights measured above the principal axis are taken as positive, and downwards are taken as negative. So what is the meaning of that? Here I am going to take one concave mirror. This is an concave mirror, and I am considering one principal axis. This is the pole of the concave mirror. Now I am taking one object. This is an object. Assume this is an object and it is named as AB. Okay. The light rays, this is an object. The light rays which is coming from this object will hit to the reflecting surface of the concave mirror. After hitting to the reflecting surface of the concave mirror, I am getting the image of this object. Suppose that if I get the image of this object is like this. This is assume that this is an image of this object AB, and this image I am taking as A dash B dash. This is an image. Okay, this is an image. Now how to take the sign convention here? So for object, if you observe here, for object, the object is above the principal axis and this object is perpendicular to this principal axis. Suppose that if the heights are measured above the principal axis, if you observe here object, the object is above the principal axis, then I should take the object as positive. So here object I should take positive AB. Okay, positive AB. And here if you observe the image, you are getting the image below the principal axis. That means the height of this object you are getting, height of the image is you are getting below the principal axis. So that this sign you should take negative. If you observe here, height measured downwards are taken as negative. So that here image should be negative. Image should be negative because we are getting the image below the principal axis. So that the heights measured downward of this principal axis are taken as negative. So here negative A dash B dash. This is the very important sign convention rules. This is very important in our numerical part also. So there are three sign convention rules we have studied. Or if you have difficulty in these rules, you can use another easy method also. You can use Cartesian. By using Cartesian coordinate system also you can measure the sign convention. Now let us see how we can use the Cartesian coordinate system. Suppose that if you take this Cartesian coordinate system, you know that there are four coordinates. There are four coordinates. You consider one concave mirror here. You can consider concave or convex mirror. It is both. It is the sign convention rule is applicable for both concave and convex mirror, and it is applicable for lenses also. That one we will study later. It is applicable for lenses also. So if we use Cartesian coordinate system, by using Cartesian coordinate system also we can measure the signs. How to use the Cartesian coordinate system? See here, I am considering concave mirror here. Now this is exactly the pole. Okay, you have to take a center as the pole of the concave mirror. If you are going, you know that in coordinate system, this is the positive x-axis, this is the negative x-axis, and the upward distance is there is a positive y-axis, and downward distance you are taking as a negative y-axis. If you are going to take the distances left side of this pole, then this is the negative x-axis. That means if you are taking distances in the left side, you have to take negative like this. Only the distance, not I am telling about the heights. If you are taking the distances right side of this pole, then you have to take it as the distance as positive. If you are taking the distance above this pole, that means it is a positive y-axis, then you should take positive. If you are going to take the height above this pole, then it is taking as a positive. And if you want to take the distances below this pole or the center, then it is a negative, because it is a negative y-axis. Like this also you can take the sign convention. So this is about the Cartesian sign convention. Now we will discuss the one derivation which gives the relation between the focal length and radius of curvature of the mirror. So what do you mean by focal length? We already studied that focal length is nothing but it is the distance from pole to the focus of the spherical mirrors. And also we know that the radius of curvature of spherical mirrors. Radius of curvature of a spherical mirror is nothing but it is the distance from a pole to the center of the spherical mirrors. That is called as a radius of curvature. Then what is the relation between the focal length and radius of curvature of the spherical mirrors? Now let us see the relation. First I am going to consider one spherical mirror. I am here taking concave mirror. You can take a convex mirror also, no problem. It is applicable for both concave and convex mirrors. Here I am going to take a concave mirror. So this is an concave mirror. Now this is the principal axis of the concave mirror. And you know that this is the pole of the mirror. Now I am going to find the relation between focal length and the radius of curvature. So before that, here I am going to take the center of the concave mirror. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to incident a parallel ray on the concave mirror. I am going to incident a parallel ray on the concave mirror. This is the incident parallel ray. This ray is parallel to the principal axis. When the rays, incident rays are parallel to the principal axis, then after reflection it will pass through the focus. It will pass through the focus. That means the point in which it meets on the principal axis after reflection, then it is called as focus. This is the focus. Now we know that the distance from pole to the focus, that one is the focal length. That one is the focal length. I am taking F, small letter F, that is the focal length. And we know that distance from pole to the center of the spherical mirror, that one is the radius of curvature. This is the radius of the curvature. Now I want to find the angle of incidence and angle of reflection. To find the angle of incidence and angle of reflection, I should take one normal. We know that how to take the normal. I have to take one normal and that line should pass through the center like this. So this is the normal. We already studied. Then this one gives this angle gives the angle of incidence and this one gives the angle of reflection, theta. Okay. See, this one is the angle of incidence theta. This is the angle of reflection theta. Both the, if you add both the angles, you will get 2 theta. This one is the 2 theta. Total angle. Now if you observe here, if this one is theta, then this angle also theta. Why this one also theta? We know that they are alternate angles. They are alternate angles. What do you mean by alternate angles? So like this. If this one is theta, this one also theta. These angles are called as alternate angles. Now if this angle is 2 theta, this is the total angle 2 theta, then this angle here, this angle also 2 theta. This is also a alternate angle. So if you observe here also, if this one is 2 theta, then this angle also 2 theta. These are alternate angles. Okay. So here I have considered one concave mirror and I have incident and ray of light on the reflecting surface of the concave mirror. After hitting to the reflecting surface, then it will pass through the focus. Suppose that if I incident a parallel rays only, when I incident a parallel rays only, then it pass through the focus. And the distance from pole to the focus is taken as a focal length and the distance from pole to the center of curvature are taken as a radius of curvature. Here this angle is theta is the angle of incidence, this one is the angle of reflection. Then total angle is 2 theta. If this angle is theta, this one also theta because they are alternate angles. If this one is 2 theta, Here this one also 2 theta. This also, these are also alternate angles. Now what I am going to do here is I am taking on the perpendicular. That perpendicular line I am taking from here, the point at which the incident ray meet on the reflecting surface of the concave mirror. That point I am taking as M. Okay, M is the point in which the incident ray meet on the reflecting surface of the concave mirror. From that point I am taking one line. That line is perpendicular to the principal axis, like this. This is the line I am taking from the point in which the incident ray meet on the reflecting surface, and that line is perpendicular to the principal axis. So that line is MD. That one I am taking as MD. And this point D is very close to pole. Okay, this point D is very close to pole. You assume like that. Then we are getting here some triangles. Okay, so now what we did here, I took one perpendicular line. So that line is perpendicular to the principal axis. Now we will write the consideration part. Here FP. FP is nothing but focal length. Focal length. C to P, the distance from C to P, that is the radius of curvature. Radius of curvature. Curvature. And here the line MD, that is perpendicular to the principal axis. Principal axis. And here the point D, which is near to the very close to pole. P. So that instead of D, instead of P, I can write D also. Okay. For the derivation purpose, I can write instead of P, I can write D also, because they are very close to each other. Here, first I am going to take one triangle. That triangle is nothing but MCD. From triangle MCD. If you observe here, MCD, the tan theta is equal to, tan theta we know that tan theta is opposite by adjacent. Tan theta is equal to opposite by adjacent. Then opposite by adjacent means here, if this one is theta, then this side is the opposite side and this side is the adjacent side. Then opposite side is MD. MD is the opposite side and adjacent side I am taking as CD. So this is the CD. Next, from another triangle I am taking, that triangle I am taking MFD. From another triangle MFD. In MFD also I am taking tan theta, but here I am taking as angle as 2 theta. In the triangle MFD, the angle is 2 theta, so that I am taking tan 2 theta is equal to opposite by adjacent means in this triangle, this is the MD is the opposite and FD is the adjacent. So that tan 2 theta is equal to MD divided by FD. MD divided by FD. So for panaxial rays means the rays are, incident rays are very close to the principal axis. Okay, so that type of rays are called as the paraxial rays. Here also I have considered here paraxial rays. For paraxial rays, these angles are very small. Then I can write for paraxial rays. I can write tan theta is nearly equal to theta. Similarly, tan 2 theta also nearly equal to 2 theta. Then I can write tan theta and tan 2 theta as tan theta I can write as tan theta, I can write theta is equal to MD divided by CD. tan theta I can write as a theta is equal to MD by CD, and tan 2 theta I can write 2 theta is equal to, because here tan 2 theta is nearly equal to 2 theta, 2 theta is equal to MD divided by FD. MD divided by FD. But we know that theta is nothing but MD divided by CD. So that I can substitute this theta in here, in this term 2 theta. So substituting this theta here, I will get 2 into theta is nothing but MD divided by CD is equal to MD divided by FD. MD divided by FD. So here MD cancels. Then after cancellation you will get 2 by CD is equal to 1 by FD. So therefore I can write FD is equal to, on rearranging, that means cross multiplication, I will get FD is equal to CD divided by 2. FD is equal to CD by 2. Here what do you mean by FD and CD? We know that from the diagram FD is nothing but FD or FP I can take, because D is very close to P, so that I can write FP or FD. Here I already written here D is very close to P, so that I can take FD or FP. In this diagram FD is nothing but it is the distance from a pole to the focus, that is nothing but focal length here. So here FD is nothing but focal length, that is the distance from pole to the focus. Then what do you mean by CD? CD or CP I can take, CD or CP, that is nothing but it is the distance from a pole to the center of curvature. So CD is nothing but distance from pole to the center of a curvature, that one is called as a radius of a curvature. Radius of a curvature, that one is nothing but R. If I substitute these two terms here, I will get FD is nothing but F, that is focal length, is equal to CD is R divided by 2. So this is the relation between the focal length and radius of a curvature. So F is the focal length, R is the radius. So very important relation, the relation between focal length and radius of a curvature. Now let us see the image formation in the case of spherical mirrors. In the case of spherical mirrors, mainly we will observe there are two types of images. They are nothing but the first one is the real image, and the second one is the virtual image, real image and virtual image. Then what do you mean by real image? Real image is nothing but, suppose that if we incident a ray of light and that ray of light originating from one point, after reflection they will meet at another point, then that type of image is called as real image. So what is by real image? Let us see diagrammatically. If I consider an concave mirror here, this is the principal axis and this one is the pole. Now I am going to incident a ray of light, and that ray of light originating from one point. So assume that this is an object and the ray of light originating from this object. Suppose that this is the one parallel ray which is originating from this object. So after hitting to the reflecting surface, it will reflect back, and that will pass through the focus. This is the focus. Okay, so this is the one ray of light, and another ray of light which is passing through the center, of the concave mirror. That is passing through the exactly center of the concave mirror like this. So when we know that this is the, assume that this is the center, we know that when the ray of light passing through the or passes through the center of the concave mirror or center of the spherical mirror. After hitting to the reflecting surface, it will retraces its path like this. It will retraces its path. If you observe here, there are two rays are originating from this object. That two rays are meeting at some point after reflection. They are meeting here. That means in this point I am getting an image of this object. I am getting image here. Okay. So this type of image is called as real image, because after reflection they will actually meet. They will really meet. So that type of image is called as real image. That is about real image. Let us see what do you mean by virtual image. Virtual image is nothing but if the light rays are originating from a point, after reflection they actually do not meet, but they appear to diverge from a point. Then that type of image is called as a virtual image. Now let us see what is by virtual image diagrammatically. Here I am considering one convex mirror. This is an convex mirror, and this is the principal axis of the convex mirror, and this one is the exactly center of this mirror, that is one called as a pole. Here I am going to consider an object. Okay, this is an object. Now I am taking one parallel ray of light which is incidenting from this object. After hitting to the reflecting surface, it will reflect back like this, like this. If I extend this reflected ray like this, I will get one point on that extended line will meet on the principal axis. That point is called as a principal focus. This is the one ray of light. And another ray of light which is originating from this point, and that ray of light passing through the center of the convex mirror. That ray of light which is passing through the exactly the center of this mirror like this. I am extending this line like this. So this is the center of the convex mirror. We know that if I incident a ray of light along the center, then it will reflect back, but the path is same as that of the incident light. That means it retraces its path. Right. So if you observe here, this inside the mirror, I am getting one point in which these two reflected rays meets. But it is actually not a real point. Actually they are not meeting, but because of extending these two reflected rays, I am getting this point. And I am getting image here. That type of image is called as a virtual image. Actually they are not meeting here, but appear to diverge from this point. Okay, then that type of image is a virtual image. These are the two important types of image in which we will observe in the case of spherical mirrors. Now let us see different cases in which the image formation takes place in the spherical mirrors. The first case is object is placed beyond the principal focus and in front of the mirror. Beyond the focus and in front of the mirror. Then let us see which type of image we are getting. Here I am taking one concave mirror. This is the concave mirror, and I am taking one principal axis. This is the principal axis and this one is the pole. Now the condition is object placed beyond the focus and in front of the mirror. See here, this is the, assume that this is the focus. This is the focus of this mirror, and this is the center of the mirror. Then I should keep the object beyond this principal focus. Beyond this principal focus like this. This is the beyond the principal focus, and that object should be in front of this spherical mirror. I am here going to take different rays of light. The first ray of light which is originating from this object parallel to the principal axis, light is incidentally exactly parallel to the principal axis. When it hits to the reflecting surface, then it will reflect back. That reflected ray should pass through the focus like this. It should pass through the focus like this. Okay, this is the first ray of light, and I am going to incident another ray of light from this object. That ray of light passing through the exactly the center, is passing exactly the center of the concave mirror. When it passes through the center of the concave mirror, after reflection it will retraces its path like this. So this is the second incident ray. And I am going to take another ray of light which is incidenting on the exactly the pole of the concave mirror. When it hits to the incident to the pole of the concave mirror, it will obey the law of reflection, and this one reflects like this. This incident ray will reflect like this. So here we will observe there are three different rays in which incident on the reflecting surface of the concave mirror. The first case is I am going to incident the ray which is exactly the parallel to the principal axis. Second ray which is incidenting through the center of the concave mirror, and third ray I am going to incident to the pole of the concave mirror. If you observe here, after the reflection, all they will meet at some point. This is the point in which you are observing. After reflecting, all the three rays are meeting. This is the point. Take this as a point M. And in this point, you are getting image. In this case, you are getting image. This is the image. Okay. So here, the object you take as AP. Okay. And image you take as A dash B dash. This one A dash B dash. If you observe here, the object is like this. This is the object. After reflection, you are getting images like this. That means you are getting the inverted image here. And after reflection, all they will meet at some point. So that type of image we call it as a real image. And the size of this image depending on the distance of this object from the focus. That may be the size of this image, that may be smaller or bigger size, that is depending on the distance of this object from the focus. So that we can tell that here we are getting the image as, in this case we are getting the image as, first one is the real image. First of all we can tell as a real, because after reflection they will actually meet at a point, so that this is a real image. And second one, it is an inverted image. We are getting here inverted image. This is an inverted image. Inverted. And third case, what I said is the size. The size may be, size of the image may be smaller or bigger. Smaller or bigger. This is the first case in which I am getting the image when I place an object beyond the principal focus and in front of the spherical mirror. So this is the first case. Now let us see second case. Suppose that if I place an object between pole and principal focus. Suppose that if I place an object between the pole and principal focus, then we'll see which type of the image we are getting. Now here I am going to consider an concave mirror. Here also I am going to consider an concave mirror. This is an principal axis. This is the pole, and this one is the center. This is the center. Assume that this is the focus. This is the focus. Now I should take the object, or I should place the object in between the pole and the focus. That means in between focus and pole I should keep the object like this. This is an object A, B. A, B. Now what I am going to do is I am going to incident a ray of light from this object. Okay. So here first ray of light in which incidenting on this reflecting surface like this. This is exactly the parallel ray. That means this ray is parallel to the principal axis. When the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis, that should be after reflection, that ray should pass through the principal focus. That should pass through the principal focus of the mirror like this. Okay, this is the first incident ray. And I am going to incident another ray of light from this object, which is exactly passing through the center, which is exactly passing through the center like this. Like this, it is incidenting. Then we know that when the light ray incident through the center, then it will retrace its path like this after reflection. Here I am going to incident two ray of light. If you observe here, after reflection, actually they are not meeting at some point. But if I extend these two reflected rays, I am going to extend these two reflected rays like this. I am going to extend. After extending this one, actually they are not meet, but because of extension they will meet at some point. They are meeting here, and I am getting the image here. This is the image A dash B dash. Okay, so this type of image we are getting. Now what is the which kind of image I am getting here? Now which kind of image I am getting here? Now let us see. See here, I am incidenting a ray of light from a smaller object, and because of a reflection I am getting the image. That image, if you observe, that is the size is larger in size, so that I can call it as a magnified size. And after reflection, the reflected rays actually they do not meet, and they appear to diverge from a point. So that type of image I can call it as a virtual image. And if you observe the image of this object, they are straight. The image of this object is straight, so that it can call as erect. Erect. Straight image is called as erect. So I can call here image as, in this case I will get the image as, first of all it is a virtual, because it is actually not meeting after reflection, and you are getting magnified image. The size of the image will increases, and the third one is the erect. You will get the straight image. This is only when we keep the object in between the pole and the focus, in between the pole and focus of the concave mirror. This is the another case. The third case is if the object is placed, if the object is placed in front of convex mirror, in front of convex mirror. Suppose that if I place an object in front of a convex mirror, then let us see which type of image we will get. Now I am going to consider an convex mirror. This is an convex mirror. This is the principal axis, and this one is the pole. Now I should keep the object exactly in front of this mirror. I am keeping here. So this is the object A, B. Now I am going to take a ray of light which is incidenting on the convex mirror. So this is the ray I am going to incident, and that ray is a parallel ray. After hitting to the convex mirror, it will reflect back like this. It will reflect back this. If I extend this reflected ray, it will meet some point on the principal axis. That point is called as a principal focus. That is the first ray of light I am incidenting on the convex mirror. Now I am going to incident another ray of light which is passing through the center. Okay, exactly passing through the center. If I extend this one, it is appear to passing through the center of the convex mirror. We know that if I incident a ray of light exactly the center of this mirror, then it will retraces its path after reflection. Right. So here you are observing there are two rays of light which is incidenting on the convex mirror. After reflection, actually they are not meeting at some point, but they are appear to diverge from a point, and they appear to diverge from a point. They will meet some point inside the convex mirror. That means I am getting the image here. So here I am getting the image. This is the image I am taking, A dash B dash, A dash B dash. So that this type of image I can call it as a virtual image because they actually do not meet. Because of extending these lines, reflected rays lines, I will get actually the image. So that type of image is a virtual image. And if you observe the image of this object, this is the straight image you are getting. So that it is a erect. It is a erect. And if you observe the size of the object and the size of the image, the size of the image is small compared to the size of the object. So that I can get here image as a image is first one is a virtual and erect and diminished. That means the size is diminished. It is called as a diminished image I am getting here. When the condition is when I place an object in front of the convex mirror. This is about the image formation in the case of spherical mirrors.